My goal with my content across all my platforms is to help you cut through the noise and the marketing nonsense, help you make decisions based on things that are actually important to you. In this case, I'm gonna give you my 100% honest review and feedback of this specific leg extension leg curl machine, help you decide if this is something you wanna add to your setup. This is not gonna be a super technical, in-depth breakdown because frankly, that's not what I do. I'm just interested in practicality. I want you to be able to see this thing in action and decide based on the things that are important to you, whether or not you want to buy it. And I'm going to go out on a limb and assume you're interested in health and fitness in some capacity. So assuming you are, you're in the right place. Consider subscribing because it helps me out a ton. And I like to have fun on this channel. You'll find other home gym content. You'll find health food rebranding. Anything in the health and fitness space, it's what I do. I'm here to have a good time. I'm here to help you guys. But in the meantime, let's review this machine. This is a combination leg extension lying leg curl machine. It's a collaboration between two companies, Mikolo and GMWD. Mikolo was able to take one of GMWD's existing products at a higher price point, make it more accessible to more people by bringing the price down. But they also integrated their cable system, making the weight a true one-to-one, which I will show you. Price is the biggest advantage of this unit. Right now, it's listed at $380. Sub 400 is cheaper than even leg extension rack attachments, which are much simpler. So for the price, the value is fantastic. If you've been around my channel for a while, you've probably seen I've talked about another budget leg extension machine for a very long time that I've always really liked. So why would I try this and why would I make the upgrade? Two reasons. One is I think lying leg curls are far superior to seated leg curls. I hate doing seated leg curls. With my other machine that offered that, I never did them. So having the opportunity to do a true lying leg curl, I can't really pass that up. And to be completely honest, I was very, very curious about this cable system for lifting the weight. The fact that it's a true one-to-one weight ratio and it helps the resistance curve is something I wanted to experience for myself. With most budget leg extension machines, the weight's just on a pendulum, meaning it's swinging freely. So as you extend your legs out, the weight is moving with it, which works just fine, but the resistance curve is obviously different. At the bottom of the movement, you usually have virtually no resistance, so you gotta get creative with the starting position. With this, you get the resistance from the very initial starting point, which is a huge plus. This machine does have a large footprint. You need about 55 inches both ways. It's long because it converts to lying down. So you need to have the full length, and the seat itself is wide. Pair that with the cable system and then the long weight horn on the end. For a budget machine, especially something without a weight stack, it's a large footprint. So if you're pressed for space, check out the full specs. Make sure you measure, make sure it's gonna fit. I didn't measure properly. It technically fits in my space, but I am stretched really, really thin. And before I jump into the good and the bad of this machine, the last thing I should talk about is the adjustability. It's very easily adjustable. They've got the numbers lasered in here. You could adjust the leg roller itself. All in all, according to the website, there's 37 micro adjustments you can make, but in my experience using this thing for the past 2 weeks, I use about 4 adjustments. I very rarely have to change the position of the leg roller. I change the starting position when I go to lying down, and the back pad I change 1 time. So it's cool that it's got 37 options, but you're probably never gonna need them. Okay, all the boring stuff's out of the way. Let's talk about what I like about this machine so I could then tell you what I don't like. Let's start with the good, and the main and obvious one is this cable system. Once you adjust this to where you want to start, you have the full resistance from the very initial starting point. Not only is the weight smooth throughout, but the resistance curve is significantly better than the freely swinging pendulum on most leg extensions. So you already feel a significant difference with this cable system. And then the other obvious and pretty awesome thing is how easy it is to adjust. If you want to go to lying down, you adjust that back, and then the seat, and then there's one little pop pin on the side, and it goes just like that. And now this is going to be the grossest angle for a lying leg curl. So I'm not gonna show you my butt from this angle. I will show you some B-roll while I'm talking. I haven't been able to do proper lying leg curls in my home gym for as long as I've had a home gym, and this is incredible. The angle of it is perfect for limiting the lower back and hip involvement, and the cable system gives you the perfect contraction. So when you're at the very top of the curl, it feels phenomenal. I love that it's super easy to adjust because I superset a ton. So if I want to go from lying leg curls to leg extensions, it's just lock it in and change the leg position, and then you're ready to go. There is a bar right in the center here, so you can't slide into the unit. So if you're in a tight space and you try to get in this way, you really can't. You got to come around and get your foot in. So if you have a starting position that's back kind of far, which mine is, you will have to start with the leg pad out and then readjust once you get into it. A little bit annoying, but not the end of the world, because just like that, you can go from this back into your lying leg curls, and it is pretty much effortless. Ta-da! The foot pad, foot roller, whatever you want to call it, is nice and thick, much thicker than anything else I've used, which is awesome. The booty pad and the back pad, they're pretty thin, I'll admit. You could see right here, it's not really that impressive. It is wide, like I was talking about the footprint, it's pretty wide, so it's good if you're a larger person. A lot of the budget machines, they're really compact, so they might not be for you. This one's nice and wide, so it will accommodate most body sizes. The leg roller is probably the most important thing to be well padded, and it is. So that is a point in the right direction. But I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the bad, because I do have a little bit of a list. If there was nothing bad about this unit, it would be a smash buy. Because this is a budget-friendly piece of equipment, there are going to be things that, well, reflect that. And the biggest one for me is the back pad. This back pad, I made sure I double checked and triple checked, and it is as tight as it can get. And there is quite a bit of wobble to it, which is okay. I can deal with that. But because it converts from sitting to lying down, the mechanism that allows you to shift between the two, again, I'm not technical, so I don't really know what to call everything. That makes it so every time you start the motion and put any weight on the back pad, it's gonna go back about, I don't know, we'll call it half an inch. But so when you are doing your leg extension, before you start, you're kind of locked in, and then when you push back, the pad's gonna move with you. If you're moving your body at all, which I know you should be stationary, that's why there's handles, you should be locked into place. Whatever, we're not perfect, our form breaks down, sometimes we wobble a little bit, the machine's gonna wobble with you. So I really wish this seat locked into place. It's more noticeable in the lying leg curl. I'm gonna try to just like not show my whole butt. There's a little bit of butt. But when you get into position to do the lying leg curl, the whole back pad moves. So as you go through it, your body is gonna move a little bit, and so the seat is also moving up and down. Is it something I can live with? Yes. Is it annoying? Also, yes. I really, really wish this would lock better. And again, checked all the bolts. It's nothing I'm doing wrong, at least as far as I can tell. There's just some wobble to it because of the way that this adjusts, and it doesn't exactly lock in. There's always going to be a little bit of wobble, and I really wish there wasn't. One of the good things is that the weight horn is long, so you could add a lot of weight. But the bad part of that is as you go heavy, which you can do with leg extensions and leg curls, so not even extremely heavy, but you'll probably start to experience this at just 3 plates. Because this is such a lightweight unit, all the weight is sitting in that back corner. So the unit itself begins to slide really, really easily when you have any amount of weight on there. Once I'm down here, I'm okay. You know, I'm sturdy, everything's weighted down, but my legs are moving up away from the machine, and the weight is moving up away from the machine. And then once they're both up there, my machine starts to wobble. When you're at the top of the movement and things start to shift a little bit, especially when you're in the middle of a heavy set, you'd rather things be stable. So floor dependent, probably. I haven't tested it on my rubber stall mats. I gotta cut in here because I was editing my video and I realized it was really dumb for me to not move my machine over to my horse stall mats to see if the rubber flooring actually makes a difference with the wobble and the sliding of the machine. I was just being lazy, but I want to give you guys a true representation of how this machine works. So I loaded up the weight on here, and let's see what the wobble's like. You've still got a little wobble at the top of the machine, the way that the weight's displaced, but not quite as bad as on the concrete. So the machine still rotates pretty easily, not nearly as bad as on my other floors. So the horse stall mats definitely help. The right flooring definitely limits the amount of wobble and movement. There's still some, but it feels much more stable. So if you're setting up this machine on proper flooring, you won't notice anything drastic. Unfortunately for me, this is not where I have the machine set up. I have it set up over there. I just moved this over here for demonstrating. If you're on rubber flooring, not so bad. The last thing I don't love is the lack of versatility on this. On machines that have the pendulum weight, you can do pushing and pulling because the weight is moving freely. When you are moving away from the machine, the weight is also going to move away from the machine. If you were doing a seated leg curl and pulling towards the machine, the weight will move backwards. So you can do push and pull essentially. Because this is a cable system where the weight is always being pulled up, this leg roller is only going to move in one direction. Something that really bugs me on the website and the marketing materials, they show a guy doing crunches on this machine, which is part of the reason I wanted to use this because I love that versatility. So he's got the pad here, he's sitting on the edge and he's crunching. But as you can see, you can't crunch. There's no mistaking he's doing a crunch because they highlight the abs, which means they had this guy start the weight here, grab it, and make it look like he was doing a crunch like this. But all I'm doing is holding the weight and basically doing a lower back hyperextension. There's no way that they didn't know because they had to tell this guy to do it and then say that they were targeting abs. So when you see that on the marketing materials, just a heads up that that one is not true. You can't do abs. You could do this, which I guess is kind of a lower back exercise, not a good one. But you cannot push this down. The weight doesn't move that way. The weight can only come up this way. It's a little bit of a bummer. I mean, they show like this guy doing curls. I think he's down here and like curling this, but I would never curl a 6-inch pad. You can set up hip thrusts on this machine, but the one pretty serious downside to that is if you're doing hip thrusts, you have to go pretty heavy to actually feel it. I got 4 plates on the side right now, and I'll show you. This is a terrible spot for my machine. This is not where I keep it. You can position this to have a pretty comfortable starting point. The issue is because it's a lot of weight, when you thrust, the entire machine is gonna move back as your body moves up. This is terrifying. So you can't actually hip thrust on this. If you want to, you can do really lightweight and do single leg hip thrust. If you want to do any kind of real weight, it's not going to work. If you want to keep it light, you'll be good because it actually feels pretty good, but you're not going heavy. I outlined a lot of negatives to this machine, so it probably made it seem like I don't like it, but I like to approach these kinds of things from a really critical point of view, because if you're thinking about buying this, the bad is more important than the good, because the good is very obvious. The good is it's a leg extension and a leg curl, and it does both of those things really, really well. The bad is the stuff that you wouldn't normally know about, so that's the stuff I gotta bring to your attention. All that being said, I'm filming this outro after editing my video because I've since moved my machine over to my horse stall mats to see what the difference is, and it's pretty drastic. Once you're on proper rubber flooring, this machine is much more stable. It shifts a lot less than I was experiencing on my hard floors. So if you have proper gym flooring, you're gonna like this machine a lot more than I initially thought. So I wanted to make sure I made that point, and all in all, I really, really like this. Like I was saying, I wanted to be critical, but the leg extension and leg curl, it does those things really, really well. Obviously, the cable is the main draw here, and because they integrated that cable, the motion all the way through, the strength curve, and the resistance at the top feels so much better than the other machine that's just a freely swinging weight. And likewise, the lying leg curls, I like those so much more than seated leg curls, so I love the way this one feels. If you're only used to commercial high quality equipment, this is certainly not gonna be for you because it is not that. But if you're in the market for something budget friendly, if you wanna just do leg extensions and leg curls, you're not gonna find something that feels better than this, let alone anything comparable in price. But we're all very different. We all have different training styles and preferences. We all place importance in different areas. So things I like about this machine, you might not like, or there might be things that you wish this machine had that I don't really care about. So drop me your comments. Let me know what you think about this. If you have any questions, as you know, I am always gonna be 100% honest. I just want to help you guys make the right choices, the right purchases for your home gym. So you hit me with your comments and I will see you in the next video.